So the mods on this list are probably one of the most popular type of mods for Lethal Company because of how well suited they fit in the environment of the game. So in this video, you get to see some of the incredible new SCP entities that you can add into Lethal Company right now. Starting with the first SCP mod on the list, this is the SCP-049, the Plague Doctor mod. It has two new entities into the game, namely SCP-049 and 049-2 into Lethal Company, and it has an extra unique gameplay feature in the game. You see, the SCP-049 is a mysterious entity that aims to quote-unquote cure an incurable disease called the pestilence, usually in humans. However, he does so by killing them and reanimating them, effectively turning them into a zombie. At first, the SCP-049 will roam around the facility, searching for a player to quote-unquote cure. Once it has spotted the player, it will immediately chase you down, and if you're unlucky, it will one-shot you the moment it touches you. But that's not over yet, as when the player is killed by it, it will immediately be reanimated into a zombie-like creature, aka SCP-049-2. The model of this entity is amazing. They move way slower than the Plague Doctor, both in terms of movement and attack speed. Damage-wise, it is not a one-hit kill like the Plague Doctor, but it will definitely be a nuisance upon encountering it, especially once they spawn in numbers. Overall, a pretty great representation and translation of SCP-49 into Lethal Company. This mod is required by everyone in the server to install it for it to work. Now for our second SCP mod, this is the SCP-956 mod in Lethal Company, a very unique mod as it adds 3 new things into the game, one of which is, of course, SCP-956, otherwise known as the Pinata/the Childbreaker. The other 2 things added in this mod are SCP-330 and SCP-559, which I'll be showcasing later. But anyway, starting with the main entity, SCP-956 is a pretty spooky one, as according to the SCP Foundation, it hates children and will do whatever it can to dispose of them through pretty gruesome means. At the start of the round, a random age will be assigned to all players in the lobby. If you are assigned to be less than the age of 12, you are considered to be a child during that gameplay. You will know that you are a child when you are shorter than the average employee. Now, SCP-956 will spawn somewhere in the facility, and by default, whenever someone under the age of 12 walks within the activation zone of the entity, it will activate it. Now, according to the lore, once SCP-956 gets in range of a child, the child will be rendered immobile, which almost certainly means death upon encountering it. So if you are assigned as a child, you have to be extremely careful of where you go. Now this mod doesn't stop there, as it adds in the SCP-559, which is a mysterious cake that can change your age depending on the number of candles that are on the cake. Be careful not to overuse this item, as it may change you into a child immediately, rendering you in danger of SCP-956 within a vicinity. And aside from the mysterious cake, SCP-330 is also added through this mod, also known as Take Only 2. If you take a candy and consume it, you will gain additional effects such as health regeneration, damage reduction, increased movement speed, and more. However, if more than 2 candies are taken, your hands will be immediately sliced off, leaving you to bleed to death and unable to interact with most scraps and objects anymore because, well, you don't have any hands. So yeah, overall, this is a pretty big mod. It doesn't end there too, as it is highly configurable aside from its default settings. You see, everything that I've just mentioned is the default settings, but setting this mod to the secret lab behavior in the config menu will make the mod act differently, similar to the SCP Secret Lab game. Some of the changes are that all candies will now have random effects compared to a fixed effect. Also, not only will SCP-956 now target anyone holding a candy instead, but it will also teleport around if not looked at for 60 seconds, making it way more dangerous with its increased aggressiveness and mobility. So yeah, the mod has something for everyone depending on the playstyle you prefer. It requires everyone in the lobby to install it for it to work properly. Now, aside from the dangerous SCP entities, we also have helpful ones, introducing the SCP-999 mod, which adds in the SCP-999, otherwise also known as the Ticker Monster, into Lethal Company. But before we go into that, do subscribe to the channel if you love these mod showcases. So anyway, dubbed as the happiest SCP monster, it is not dangerous at all. In fact, all SCP-999 wants to do is to make those around it happy. Once spawned, SCP-999 will roam around the facility and follow the first enemy or player it encounters. If it spots a player, it will prioritize them over anything else. When a player or monster takes damage, it will run over to them and give them a big hug. Whoever interacts with it will heal them for 10 HP per second. But if it's a monster that it is hugging, it will heal it at a rate of only 1 HP per second. So yes, even though it is lesser, do remember that it can heal monsters as well. Now if a candy is dropped near it, it will consume the candy and SCP-999 will gain a healing and speed buff. The healing factor will increase by double the rate. On a side note, candies from the previous SCP-956 mod are also compatible with this mod. Do note that giving it too much candy will have consequences though, such as making it too excited, which in turn runs around and starts dancing along the way. This is adorable, but be careful as it may not be close enough to heal you. Here, that is the only catch. Now another special triad of SCP-999 is that it will attempt to shield you from turret gunfire, similar to how it works according to the SCP Foundation info. So as you can see, this is definitely one of the only SCP monsters you want to keep by your side. Go ahead and try this out, as this mod needs to be installed by everyone in your lobby for it to work. And for the next mod, this is the SCP-1507 mod. It has SCP-1507, also known as the Flamingo Army. This mod spawns in various flamingo statues into the game, while one of them being the Alpha, which can be identified with a sunglasses on his head. As time goes on, more flamingo instances will spawn at the location of the Alpha, which in the beginning will not be harmful at all. In fact, the Alpha actually has a hidden anger meter tied to it. When the anger meter fills up to a level of 10, all flamingos will then attack the players at once, just like a horde of angry zombies. They only inflict 5 damage to the player per flamingo, but the sheer number of them can kill you really quickly if you underestimate them. Now you might be wondering what makes SCP-1507 angry in the first place. Well, actions like hitting the Alpha, looking at them too much, or holding a weapon while looking at them will contribute to making the Alpha angrier. Now this mod is not too OP as you may have thought, as you can first of all reduce their anger by dancing next to them or using the clown horn to calm them down. If all things go wrong though, you can resort to violence as a solution. Just be careful as you'll be fighting a lot, and I mean a lot of them. Oh, and the additional feature of the flamingo instances to spawn with random hats are really cool as well. Just want to put this out there. Overall, it's a very fun mod to play around with, especially with your group of friends. This mod obviously requires everyone in the server to install it for it to work. Now up next, probably one of the most dangerous SCP monsters in this list. This is the SCP-3199 mod. It has the SCP-3199 entity, otherwise known as Humans Refuted to Lethal Company. What makes it so dangerous is not its overpowered ability or something like that, but it's due to the ability to quickly multiply through its egg-laying behavior. Now let me explain. This entity only spawns outdoors. It will start off in the egg phase, and once hatched, it will slowly grow in size while searching for a player in the roaming phase. Once it does detect a player, it will start the chasing phase and start pecking the player aggressively. The damage is around 40, but the movement speed is slower than an average player, so you can easily run away from it. Now while it doesn't seem as terrifying, that is not where the danger lies with this mod. You see, if SCP-3199 doesn't spot a player in the roaming phase, it has a chance to lay an egg, spawning even more of this monstrosity to roam around outside. Additionally, if you kill it, it will also spit out another egg, basically spawning another one for you to deal with. And no, these eggs are basically indestructible. This infinite-like behavior will more than likely be the cause of your crewmate's death, as according to the SCP Foundation details, this egg-laying ability is a possible threat to take over the human population. So far, it doesn't have its acid-spitting ability that it originally had, but that is planned to be added in the near future. I do have suggestions to place it under control though. One of them is to probably leave them alone and only deal with it when there are too many of them. They aren't too powerful themselves, so it is still manageable in smaller numbers. Another suggestion is for the developers to add in a new item to contain them, stopping them from duplicating and laying eggs. Maybe something like a tank of water, as in the lore, placing them underwater will make them inactive and stop them from further laying eggs. But yeah, either way, still an amazing mod that requires everyone to install it for it to work. Now if you love these SCP mods, go ahead and join the SCP project Discord, as most of the mods in this video are done by the talented team over there. You get to see future SCP projects coming, and you can also apply to be a part of the development team as well. Link to the Discord will be in the description, and please like this video if you love what you see.